Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw. It's the Royal Rumble 2024. It's in the books. And I've got adrenaline in my soul, Larson, because Cody freaking Rhodes is going back to WrestleMania. He pointed at the sign. He pointed at the Roman Reigns. Pointed over here, pointed over there.
Pointing all over the place.
Lots of pointing going on.
Finishing the story, it seems like, for Cody in Philadelphia in early April.
Yeah, man.
Seems to be the case.
Yeah.
This was like the WWE pay-per-view with the least amount of matches on it in a long time. I can remember. There's only 4 matches on it.
There's only 4 matches.
About 4 hours of show, though.
And it kind of feels like, well, no, I actually kind of really enjoyed the U.S. title match, even with the wonky finish.
Oh, I like the finish. It was creative.
The women's Rumble, though, especially with Bayley winning, for my money, and I think probably for yours, was the highlight of the night, and that's what we started off with.
Yeah.
You know, I know in our predictions, you and I were both weeks ago. We were both pretty big on Bayley winning the women's
Cody
Rumble
for that matter.
Bayley and Cody.
Bayley and Cody win the Rumbles. Yeah.
Right. Then I sort of shifted to Becky for the women's Rumble. And then I had no idea. I know I'd said Punk, but then I'd said Gunther, and then I went back to Punk, and then I was like, you know what? I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And I like that going into a Rumble.
Definitely.
Bayley winning the women's Rumble, and I wonder if just, you know, I know there's been a lot going on this weekend in the WWE. I made a joke to Mr. Job that you know, Triple H was in the middle of booking the men's Rumble, or he's about to start, and then all the drama hit the fan. And that's why that felt a little on the less dramatic side.
Yeah.
The women's Rumble, be it because there were, I thought, more number one, the thing that you always say about what makes a Rumble good, and that's just the stories that play out during them. They were just more interesting during the women's Rumble.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there was so much focus on Raw for the men's Rumble with all the pieces, the potential people to win the match. You got Gunther, you got Drew, you got Punk, you got Cody. Like you'd think, and that was your final 4. But you know, it felt like the first 90% of the Rumble they kind of rushed through. Maybe they were running short on time. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then by the time by rushing, maybe it came at the expense of some of the story beats they wanted to hit perchance.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time they got down to the final 2, which was Cody and Punk, then it felt like, all right, there's room to breathe. But I felt like the crowd kind of got lost their enthusiasm because what preceded that wasn't necessarily the most intriguing. I mean, like the men's Rumble really didn't get going until R-Truth showed up at 24.
Yeah.
That's when it finally felt like, oh, there's a real emphasis on story now.
Last year, it's hard to match last year's men's Rumble because that final 2 with Cody and Gunther, that was so much fun. It was like a mini match, and it was a really, really good one. The mini match between Punk and Cody, Punk was really telegraphing that he was going to lose. He sort of went into heel Punk mode, which can be fun, but endlessly looking at the Mania sign, pointing at it, looking at it, staring at it, and then saying, I ain't going to lose. I'm here. First time I'm here in 10 years. I'm not going to lose to Dusty's kid. And then, of course, he gets thrown out. The cool thing about that, I think, you know, afterwards you see Punk and he's like in a fetal position down ringside, like shivering almost. And so I'm interested to see where that takes Punk from here, because I think he's probably the most interesting character amongst a lot of interesting characters that they have right now. But let's go back to the women's Rumble because it was highlight of the night. Absolutely. I love the Bayley damage control story with Io looking on, because they show at one point Io and Rhea both looking on, and Rhea stone face, just totally stone face. Io has apprehension and almost being worried all over her face.
Yeah, anxiety.
And I loved that. And the wrinkle of Asuka and Kyrie showing up, and Bayley like, what is this? Like, this wasn't part of the plan. What's happening right now? And so there's that tension, like, oh God, are they going to screw her out of this? Because for a while that was where I was leaning to also. It's like, oh, they're going to screw her out of this. But now it seems like Damage Control, this is theirs basically. This is their situation to lose because Bayley's going to go after Rhea, but Damage Control's going to fuck this up and she's going to end up getting Io at WrestleMania.
At this juncture, Bayley has enough justification. When Asuka and Kyrie won the tag titles on SmackDown on Friday, they go up to celebrate with the rest of Damage Control, and they freeze out Bayley like she's Michael Jordan at the 84 All-Star game.
Yeah.
85
right.
All-Star game. Sorry. He's on the Eastern Conference team.
Yeah.
It's like she's not even there.
Yeah, right. She goes for high fives and Asuka just ignores her. She's just sort of like, it's like even worse than that. Like Asuka acknowledges her with a big smile and then turns away from the high five. It's like the worst emotional manipulation. And I think that story itself, I feel like, the only thing the men have comparable to that really is Judgment Day, but none of them are really in the running to be winning this thing.
No.
And so then it's just sort of like, okay, every man for himself. But when you have a faction that is so in the midst of this emotional manipulation, it adds for some really, really good intrigue. And then on top of that, the returns and the debuts were just so much better. They brought TNA's Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace, who, by the way, looked like a grade A level WWE star in this Rumble. Jade Cargill looked like $1 billion star in this Rumble. Naomi kicked things off at number 2 in the Rumble with an emotional return. On the men's side of things, we had, and it was cool, Andrade.
Yeah.
But, just to contrast men's Rumbles and women's Rumbles, that's like some of the reasons there. The women's Rumble was an absolute bright spot. And, I know it's going to main event night 2. And Cody's a big deal. The crowd was into Bayley tonight. Yeah. The crowd was into Bayley tonight. I kind of feel like that should have main evented, but because the story was just so much better from beginning to end.
It really was. It really was. You had, the idea that Asuka and Kyrie were there to help Bayley. But the prospect was always there that they would ultimately cost her the match. Well, they get eliminated, like a third of the way through.
Yeah.
And then Bayley's like, she thinks she has help to win, even though she might be a little suspect of it. And that turns to, oh gosh, I had to do this myself.
Yeah.
At that point, and then she actually has to dig down and come through. And she did.
Yeah.
You get a whole story, a character arc right there in one match. And it felt like there was stuff set up. There's matches set up in the Women's Rumble. I didn't necessarily get that in the Men's Rumble.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I changed my pick in the Big Blue Predictions Challenge, which, by the way, congratulations to Cameron Shank, new Big Blue Predictions champion. I don't know if anybody's seen. Do we know where Michael Keith Thornton landed in terms of the placement?
I can check. Give me a moment.
But that's why I went with Bayley towards, because I thought about it. And I was like, number one, they've been featuring her in these like very serious video packages lately where she's been really featured. And number two, I did feel like there was a distinct possibility that Triple H would book this match to be its own big story beat, its own twists and turns for Bayley. She looked like kind of a clown on Raw or SmackDown, whatever the go home was. It was Raw because I didn't watch SmackDown yet. I watched like half of it. They kind of booked her to be a little bit of a clown, that same old Bayley. But like from that point, and then the course of this Rumble, you see the change happen, and then she wins it, and it's going to be heartbreak when Damage Control basically, and I don't know how this is going to play out. If they're going to think that she's already going after Rhea so they can tell her to kick rocks. And then the twist is going to be, well, I never actually signed that particular deal.
Or you mentioned earlier today that it could be an evolution situation where, they have the thing in the ring where it's like, hey, ready to hear your decision now, Bayley. You're going to go after Rhea, right? And then she could do the thumbs down thing like Batista did to Triple H.
Yeah.
And like I said, she has all the motivation right now.
Yeah.
To want to go after Io.
Yeah.
And it's intriguing going forward about what's going to happen in that respect. It was great seeing Jordan Grace in the match. She looked like an absolute star. It's awesome seeing Naomi. She was in the Rumble longer than everybody except for Bayley.
Yeah.
She was in for more than an hour.
Yeah.
And I like that in the Women's Rumble, they focused on roster members, current roster members. They didn't rely on bringing in legends like they had in years past.
Yeah.
They focused on the roster they had, developing the characters they have, telling stories and building stuff for the future. It just felt like, for the most part, that was kind of lacking in the Men's Rumble.
Yeah, it was. It was. It felt like, and here's the thing. We've often said, and it's one thing that we've levied criticism at AEW as something that we sort of suspect is booking. I would just think, from a creative standpoint, booking compelling weekly television with these big moments that land every month is probably difficult. But as people who have been in, excuse me, somewhat relatively creative positions before, like, you've made little short films. We both, with 10 for the Win, we did like a 2 short films a week, for one span.
Yep. Sometimes 3.
Sometimes there's just a story that you're locked in on, that you're focused on, that you want to do. And that seems to be Triple H right now with Damage Control. And then there's the stuff that you're like, this can kind of just write itself. And I kind of feel like that might be, the Men's Rumble in general. I mean, I think he probably has an idea for what he wants to do. I'm sure he's got an idea for what he wants to do with Punk at Mania. And maybe Punk will butt his way into, he'll find his way into the match with Seth Rollins. That's still a possibility. Maybe they'll do a Gunther Punk Rollins triple threat because it is, a 40. It's, it's a factor of 10.
Every 10 they have
WrestleMania.
for a title. Yeah.
So maybe that'll be the situation. And he understands that, okay, well, there's enough intrigue in the failure of the men in the Rumble this year, with Drew getting tossed out the way he did, Damian Priest getting tossed out, and Damian Priest, in Judgment Day, really falling apart at the seams here. I mean, I thought for a second they were going to try to go face with Damian Priest. The way he treated R-Truth tonight, oh my God, no.
First thing he did when he got in the ring was drop R-Truth with a forearm.
Yeah.
No babyface turn for Damian here. No,
man. He clocked him. I'm assuming, so from what I understand, right now I can see Cody's on my screen here. He's in the press scrum. He was asked about the Vince allegations. I don't know, but somebody here said he gave a good answer. I'm assuming it was kind of probably a standard Cody non-answer. But if somebody in chat here has that info, that'd be nice to see.
Yeah, I'm looking on social media here too to see what.
But I do think that the strength in the stories and the participants they use in the Women's Rumble, I thought made that the highlight of the night. We had the face-offs that we want, Bianca and Jade, Jade with powering up Nia Jax the way she did. It looked great. I thought that was a real highlight.
Yeah, I thought there were so many more interesting moments, whether it's interesting showdowns, interesting story developments, interesting moments, just generally speaking, in the Women's Rumble than there were in the Men's Rumble. It just felt like for the first 23 participants in the Men's Rumble, it's like, all right, we got to get through this. We got to get through this.
Yeah.
And then the last third, they're like, all right, let's tell some stories now. The last quarter of it. Let's start telling a couple stories. And it just never really found its footing, I didn't feel like, the Men's Rumble. There was some good stuff.
Yeah, it was. You're right, though. It was like, hey, we know who we want to be the last, 6 guys. And then it turns out that's who it was, know? And it's like all the people that we were like, man, this could come down to 5 people that could win this thing. Well, that's what it came down to. And so I'm glad that they, Ricochet was sort of the only guy who was like, well, he ain't winning this thing.
Yeah.
And then Sami Zayn comes out at 30 and you're sort of off to the races from there. And it was sort of like, okay, well, how is this going to be whittled down? And sure enough, it came down to Cody and Punk. So, the last, 20 minutes or so, decent enough, pretty decent.
Yeah.
But also kind of, I am mildly, I guess kind of disappointed that they didn't take a more interesting route with Cody to get there. But maybe that sort of story of desperation is going to be Punk's. Oh man, I lost to Dusty's kid. How am I going to finish my story now? Because, Punk is Mr. Chip on his shoulder guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's entirely possible. And who knows if, like they did with Cody, they didn't have him finish his story, his first opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe Punk comes up short this year in terms of getting a Mania main event match and has to scratch and claw and fight to get it next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe against Cody.
Yeah.
For the title. Yeah, I mean, I agree with, I guess we both kind of thought twice about picking Cody for the Rumble because of that. That this is kind of like the home stretch in terms of putting up as much adversity in front of Cody as he possibly can to kind of bring it down to the wire, whether he's going to make it to Mania in a main event position or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it could be they're going to do that story with Punk now. Now with Cody winning the Rumble, it just seems like, all right, it's basically a certainty at this juncture he's going to walk out of Mania Night 2 holding up that Undisputed Universal Championship. He'll most likely beat Roman. I don't see how they have him lose 2 years in a row. So I guess the intrigue then comes down, all right, is Punk going to get a spot, or is he going to have to wait? They've advertised him for Elimination Chamber, I believe, Punk. So...
Oh, have they? Okay.
I believe they have, yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, you got to still like Rollins. You got to still like Punk Rollins, right? Like, that is kind of the dream match, given everything that had been set up while Punk was in AEW, Mm-hmm. And it's like, you got it. Number one, I've said this a million times before. I'm going to be so distracted with Triple H on my screen right here. I'm going to take him off my screen. If anybody has any good info on that, let me know. You got to think that it's going to be Punk Rollins. There's just too much intrigue there with Punk being the age that he's at, with Punk being still, and look, one of my predictions for the year was we're not going to have any Punk drama backstage at WWE. He can't complain about this, it just sort of depends what that story of his is going to be, because he said he wants to be in the main event of WrestleMania. I guess he'll accept night 1 because that's probably going to be the Seth match. And now it's just, how do you get there? If he's going to be advertised for Elimination Chamber, it seems maybe obvious that they're going to do, a Raw men's Elimination Chamber for the world title shot.
Yeah, Cody could point up at Roman and yell at him that he's coming after his title fast enough after winning that Rumble. So
he was looking for that dude, and it was a long way away. It was really far up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like he'll just have to, win an Elimination Chamber, which is a pretty grueling match.
Or he could not. Itself. He could lose there too, and he has to wait.
What would be the other match then?
I have no idea. Drew McIntyre, maybe? I don't know.
Drew is a weird situation.
He is, because yet again in this match, he was too worried about talking trash to Phil. Ended up getting himself eliminated because of it. He looked like a dummy sitting there on the floor, realizing that yet again he screwed up.
He gets so involved with his own bullshit.
He can't just... All right, I'm going to do it now.
He can't just not even just go do it.
I'm not saying take a 10 count. I'm just saying he never allows himself an opportunity to just, all right, I'm going to do it now. He's either rushing himself or he's taking too long, you know?
Yeah.
He's putting too much pressure on himself when he pinned Rollins and got Rollins' foot on the ropes because he was over anxious. Going for that second Claymore, the first Seth match, because he was over anxious. In this match, he just took his time too much. He wasn't. The urgency wasn't there.
He thinks he has it wrapped up. That's the thing. He thinks he has it wrapped up.
It's hubris.
He is an interesting, and also because of behind the scenes stuff, we're not sure if he's going to be in WWE even. After honestly, the creative on him so far, over the past couple of months since he really came back, has been really good.
Yeah.
But who knows if somebody wants. I really honestly with Drew, I get the feeling that he seems like the kind of guy who would rather, if he wants a break, then he's just going to take a break. He's not going to go to AEW or something like that. He'll just take a break, and then next year's Rumble, he'll come in and win the damn thing or something like that.
Yeah.
We got a super chat here from Dirk Hardpeck, who says, just joining, so maybe you mentioned it, but do you think maybe Braun got the Brock spot? Came in, clean house, set up a potential match with Gunther at WrestleMania. That actually leaves a good question. Gunther at WrestleMania.
Who's Gunther face at Mania?
I actually like Gunther versus Punk better than Rollins versus Punk, to be honest with you. That's just me. I think it'd be a hell of a
Gunther
match.
versus Seth.
Oh, that triple threat. Do the thing. You got 2 belts.
Yeah.
You do the thing.
Put
First pin gets one belt.
Pin. Yeah, exactly. 2 falls. Yeah.
And then you know who comes out of both of them? Gunther comes out with both belts.
Gunther.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the man.
Gunther, the ring general.
As far as who got the Brock spot, it could have been Braun. It could have been Pat McAfee.
Could have been Ricochet.
Could have been Ricochet. Yeah, could have been Ricochet.
28, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who else. Yeah, I'm not sad that Brock's gone. I'm not. Nope. Even with the allegations and all the lawsuit stuff, even if you don't know about him, I'm just over it. Everybody was saying, "Oh, I want Gunther versus Brock. I want Gunther versus Brock." I never wanted that shit.
I only wanted it because Gunther wanted it.
Yeah, well, But here's the thing about Brock: you just never know what he's going to do. Apparently, he just comes in and just sort of does what he wants.
I know, and that's the hard part. If he comes in and decides, well, no, I'm not gonna play ball. But
yeah, right.
What I want to do.
I want to be Intercontinental Champion.
Then you get the Dean Ambrose match, which is a train wreck,
which is awful. Yeah,
it's an awful match. Awful match. Before we get to the breakdown, I guess there were 2 other matches tonight. Roman did not main event. Didn't even open the show. Went out second. And, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. He was winning, retaining the undisputed Universal Championship. But there was some fun bits, the referencing, because he made a reference because the last time they were in Tampa, he stacked Daniel Bryan and Edge. Yeah, he made a reference to that on Twitter today, and it almost ended up him getting stacked by AJ Styles. Mm-hmm, all of them got stacked by AJ. They all kicked out, though. And of course it comes down to interference from Solo. Mm-hmm. Which ultimately leads him to getting the win. But there were some fun bits, like when Randy was doling out RKOs, Roman ended up eating finisher from everybody in the match. Mm-hmm. I guess it was probably a good idea, given the dynamic that has existed in Roman's previous title defenses over the last year plus, to make it a fatal 4-way, just to add a different element to it, as opposed to another 1-1 match that Solo interferes, leading to Roman's victory. Now, this time you had a fatal 4-way with Solo interference leading to Roman's victory, but there was 3 other people in the match, therefore it's different.
Yeah, dude. Last year, what was the match last year at the Rumble? Oh my God. Oh, wow. That was
Kevin Owens and Roman last year.
And there was the Sammy bit at the end. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the post-match stuff was really sold that one.
Yeah. This was not.
That was Seth and Roman.
This was not ideal. This was not ideal. I sort of get it. Like, okay, he pinned LA Knight in Saudi Arabia. He pins AJ Styles here. There's one guy left, Randy Orton. They can have their solo match probably in Saudi Arabia after Mania. Dude, I just don't. And they'll do Orton versus Solo to set that up maybe at Mania.
Yeah.
I'll be on, like, at this point, Solo kind of has go away heat with me. He doesn't do a lot. The ref is making the count. The TV direction was great, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, how the fuck is he going to get out of this one? And then the ref just disappears and it's Solo and he's just staring at his thumb again. It's like, all right, here we go. I just don't, it's one of those things where I just don't buy it. I just, I don't buy the thumb and the spike and all that kind of shit.
Well, on SmackDown last night, LA Knight was like wrecking his hand. He wasn't like selling that at all tonight.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just me. I know people like Solo, and I'm cool with that. It's not really my deal.
I think we both like Solo in NXT.
I thought he had dimension. His whole thing was, I've been left out of the bloodline in NXT.
I know.
Like, I've been left by myself.
I know. They just forgot all about that, or just disregarded it when he got called to main. And he's all about the bloodline now. I mean, he's the tribal heir, and I guess this is what to expect from Solo. I mean, hopefully at some point that period of time, whenever Roman showed any hint of weakness and Solo looked at him with disdain,
that was good.
That was prime Solo on main roster.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because it seemed like at any moment he's like, all right, forget Roman, spike him.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
let's just get this out of the way. I'm tribal chief now. Mm-hmm. But they've kind of gone past that ever since he was named tribal heir. He's like, all right, I'm just going to wait it out.
Yeah, it does. It seems like, we've talked about the bloodline kind of treading water at certain times, and there's always going to be dips. At this point, it just sort of feels like they're getting to Mania. It's like let's just get there, and we'll do the match.
You will win.
Yeah. And then of course there was the United States title match. I like this. Logan Paul is awesome in the ring. He really is.
He's taken to pro wrestling just about faster than anybody I could think of.
Man, like the Kurt Angle's the only comparison I can make.
But we didn't see Kurt Angle's first 4 televised matches because he was doing it in developmental. You know what I mean?
And I think he had like a match in the NWA. Yeah, you're right. That's actually a really good point. And like his first matches were on a huge stage.
Yeah. Yep. And I understand he's got an opportunity to go to the Performance Center or wherever he does the training and practice the match over and over and over and over. But he's really athletic.
Yeah.
He's taken to the storytelling part of professional wrestling really quickly.
Yeah.
The way he was selling, he was talking trash. He's, throughout his matches, I think he's been a pretty solid crap talker in the ring. But
yeah, right.
His selling of Owen strikes in this match, particularly tonight, bordered on the cartoonish. But since he's a heel, it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But he was really emphasizing, good facials, to use a wrestling term.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Selling the strikes. He was and it means that was almost cartoonish because he's an over the top heel as it is. It works.
There is no stumbling with him. Everything is like almost perfectly timed. Dude, I'm not a pro wrestler, but I know when something looks shitty. And and man, look, even if a pro wrestler told me, yeah, no, he's got it all wrong, I wouldn't know. So he's doing a good job faking it. His stuff it's just so smooth. Mm-hmm. And I know they did, look, you got to protect Kevin Owens, and they try to do the thing where his crony comes out and hands him the brass knuckles. There was a big, thing about that. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come down, they get him the knuckles. Kevin Owens able to get them off him and hits him. And it's like, oh shit, he's got this at the Rumble.
Oh, the ref counts the 3.
Yeah.
And only after counting the 3 notices the brass knuckles on Kevin Owens' hands, and then reverses the decision and DQs him.
A true dusty finish. Dusty finish.
It was a true dusty finish. That's correct.
And I thought it was well done. I do. Sometimes you got to do that kind of bullshit. And I thought in this case it worked. Do you think this is going to lead now to a rematch at WrestleMania, Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul?
I mean, it could be at Chamber. They could do the rematch at Chamber. For a while it seemed like it was a good possibility that Logan Paul was going to face LA Knight for the U.S. title at Mania. I'm not so sure now. It seems like LA Knight, at least for the time being, is getting to a feud with AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's a na-na. Yeah.
And who knows, how long they're going to tell that story. Is it going to be something's going to happen on TV and culminating at Chamber, or is it going to go all the way through WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't know. But if there definitely feels like it's far less of a certainty that Logan Paul is going to face LA Knight at Mania, much less lose to him.
I'll be honest with you. Like I'm an LA Knight fan. I think he's great and everything, right? When he's in there with a Randy Orton and an AJ Styles, and it's honestly by virtue of the fact that Orton's been doing it at the top of the game, at the top of the level,
For 20 years, yeah.
For 20 years. And AJ Styles has been doing it for the same amount of time, not always in the WWE, but now for 8 years in the WWE.
Yeah.
There is something to him that's like, you're not quite that guy, I don't think, in terms of just being there yet. And it's fine. He just, like, last year was his breakout year,
Yeah.
And so it's fine to not be there yet. It does seem like I could see Owens picking up that U.S. title off of Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I could totally see that. Dude, look, it would not shock me if maybe even this, by the end of WrestleMania, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who in the main event last year won the tag titles, by the end of WrestleMania this year, are mid-card champs on their respective brands.
It's entirely possible.
That would not shock me because Sami, I know they did like a Sami Gunther match on a Raw, but like that for a WrestleMania match could absolutely, Sami versus Gunther could be the shit too. That could be the match
really
as
good.
well.
It could be really good.
Yeah.
It could be really good. So
before we get into our recap and our whole recap deal, we're 29 minutes in now. So Cameron Shank confirmed our new Big Blue Predictions champion. If y'all want into the next one, patreon.com/Steven Larson, the Friendo Club setup tier there, or you can go to youtube.com/Steven Larson, click join, and you get access to the same stuff. Bonus episodes, question threads, and of course, access to the Predictions Challenge. This Predictions Challenge had the largest turnout that we've ever had by a lot.
176 participants, I want to say.
Oh, is that what the final number was? 276?
276,
That's
277,
awesome.
something like that.
By Mania, we want to get to 300 participants, man. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, congratulations to Cameron. He gets this hat. We're both going to autograph this thing.
Gosh darn, I was really looking forward to winning that, but I guess
I know, man. I know. Hey, you know what? Every Predictions Challenge now, we're going to put up a new prize on the line, and probably it's going to be stuff that you can find right now at friendoshop.com. That's right. We got a brand new merch drop for the Rumble. It includes this hat here with the Friendo Club logo on it, a shirt with this logo on it, a hoodie with this logo on it. We've got the original. We've got this one right here, but this is also on a shirt like we used to have back in the day. There's some Wrestle Juice merch there as well. So check out friendoshop.com. And right now you can use promo code Friendo2024 to get a big old discount right now at friendoshop.com. So go check that out. Hey, we got over 1,300 people watching right now. Do us a solid, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 199,991 subs by WrestleMania. That's our story, Larson, that we're trying to finish.
We want to finish that story.
Yeah, because right around the corner is 200,000, which is kind of the real story we're trying to finish.
Yeah, no, but we got to get to 199,991 before we get to 200,002.
Exactly.
That being said, shall we jump into it?
Let's do it.
They had Hulk Hogan do the voiceover for the show open.
You missed it. He also did an advertisement for St. Cape something in Florida. It was a Florida destination near Tampa.
Oh.
And they bought some ad space, I guess. Because Hogan did from that same throne that he was in doing the Royal Rumble thing.
Wow.
Forget what the destination was. Somebody in chat let us know. Yeah, it was actually kind of comical. Bree said, if Hogan's doing an ad for this place, I don't want to go there. So they had him do the Rumble thing. What you gonna do, brother?
Yeah, what you gonna do? Whatever. So first surprise of the night, although at this point it's not that surprising to see Pat McAfee come and do commentary for the major pay-per-views.
Oh, it's so much fun. I like Pat.
And Michael Cole, elated, ecstatic to see Pat McAfee make his way down. And he did the whole show with Cole and Corey Graves. First match of the night, Women's Royal Rumble. Awesome stuff. Tons of fun. We talked about it extensively at the top of the show. Returning Naomi, Jordan Grace from TNA, making her WWE debut.
That was awesome.
What other surprises did we have during this match? Roxanne Perez, Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
And, in her brief appearance in this particular Rumble, they went out of their way to make her look like an absolute star.
They really did. Yeah, they referenced the story with her and Naomi. She had just a ton of great spots. They had a really great moment with her and Ivy Nile. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was fantastic. Liv Morgan made a return from shoulder injury at 30. Jade had an awesome elimination of Nia. And so the final three ended up being so Jade actually eliminated Nia, Naomi, and Becky. So those are pretty good eliminations for your first Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the final three were Jade, Bayley, Liv Morgan. Oh, there was a great elimination when Tiffany Stratton was using Bianca's braid.
Oh gosh,
to avoid elimination, and that looked like it was rough for Bianca. That looked rough. But yeah, final four: Jade, Bayley, and Liv. So eventually ends up out on the apron. Liv hits Jade with an Oblivion on the apron, and right as Liv lands on the apron from hitting the move, Bayley just kind of kicks her out, just kicks her off the apron to eliminate Liv and get the win.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The stories throughout the match, great. All the damage control stuff, really, really good.
And Jade's got her Jade Cargill theme, which was not her AEW theme.
It
was
Jade
used
Cargill
in AEW,
theme. But
it's Jade Cargill theme. And I love that. I always loved that. It sounded like the old Horseman theme.
I know. And, they set up potentially something with Jade and Bianca, whether they're facing each other at Mania, whether, as you predicted when we did our Mania predictions over on Friendo Club Wrestling. Go subscribe to Friendo Club Wrestling, please. They would tag together to take on Asuka and Kairi for the women's tag titles. Who knows? Yeah. I just like that matches potentially were set up.
Me too. Yeah. And so how do you think? Okay, so Jade, Bianca, they framed them so the Mania sign was there. I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go with Jade and Bianca teaming up as a tag against Damage Control for the tag titles. That was my prediction a while ago.
You're standing by it.
I'm standing by it. I think it can make some sense.
Yeah, it could make sense. The match would be pretty awesome too.
You got to, if you're going to put somebody in there with Jade as a singles, the quality of Bianca is there, obviously, Bianca's got to lose that match too. But here's the thing. They can both win at WrestleMania if they tag together.
No, I understand that. I understand.
Oh, man. So John Alba asked Triple H about the Vince stuff. Triple H, he was asked about, I think, twice by him and Brandon Thurston about reactions and whatnot. And he just said, I'm just going to keep. He said, I'm going to do exactly what you thought I was going to do. I'm just going to focus on the positive. He was like, heard about the stuff same time you guys did.
I mean, hats
Didn't
off to John Alba.
Anything else.
No, but I'm happy that John Alba and Brandon Thurston asked the questions of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good they did.
Yeah.
Next match, I guess we'll move on. Was for the Undisputed title. It's a 4-way match. Roman, LA Knight, AJ Styles, Randall Keith Orton. And again, we went through a lot of this earlier in the show. There was some fun stuff. Roman taking everybody's finish. Down towards the finish, Solo, of course, comes. Well, here, the Randy's counter of Roman Superman punch for the RKO was really well done.
That was great.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
So this, of course, brings Solo out as Randy is covering Roman, try to get the pin. He pulls the ref out of the ring. Randy's like, hey, Solo, don't do that. So he pulls Orton out of the ring, smoke spike for Orton. Solo then hits a spike on LA Knight. And then Solo puts Knight on top of Orton for the stack.
He stacks him, yeah. Yeah, I do like that the stack was such a thing in this match.
It was a story piece, so that was nice. So at this point, AJ's on the floor selling stuff from earlier, so he's looking to hit him with a spear or something through the barricade. AJ moves. Solo goes through the barricade. By this point, Roman's finally on his feet. He's looking over. He spent way too long looking over what was going on with Solo. It never cut over to Solo while Roman was looking at him. He was just like he was doing this.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm sitting there and I'm directing television, I'm not going to take the camera off Roman Reigns' face either, Larson. Female demographic goes, because he's a good-looking man, Larson.
Oh, he's a handsome man. Don't get me wrong.
No, I agree with you totally. Why they're obsessed with that man's face? Yeah, he's just doing this, and I'm like, why aren't you doing something else? We need to show the reverse angle here. We need to know what he's looking at. Give us POV at least. Give us something. Cut to a Roman cam. They had an e-drone cam tonight. They had a drone cam,
a literal e-drone.
It was an actual e-drone. I wonder if Triple H heard that phrase before. He was like, "What's an e-drone? Is that like a drone camera, one of those cameras?" And they're like, "No, it's a phrase for diehard WWE fans." Oh, the universe.
And he probably laughs. Oh, that's the WWE universe. You mean?
He's like, "Oh, it'd be great, e-drone cam. Let's get that. Do it. It flies around and then sharply veers right suddenly.
Yeah,
suddenly. And then you have to cut away from it."
Yeah. So then Roman is finally getting to his feet, maybe about to start to cover the stack. AJ hits him with a phenomenal forearm. He falls onto Knight and Orton. He covers. Everybody under him kicks out. So AJ gets a chair. He starts blasting people with the chair. He looks to hit Orton with it. Orton hits him with an eye poke. Uppercuts AJ out of the ring. Roman hits Randy with a spear. Randy rolls the apron. LA Knight gets back in. Hits Roman with a belly to back, leaping elbow. Roman then pushes Knight into the ropes as AJ is about to do a phenomenal forearm, and then Roman hits AJ with a spear to get the win.
That last little bit, like while AJ was up on the ropes, that was timed so perfectly.
It really was.
It was a nice looking spot because it's like AJ's only on the ropes for a second.
I know.
For like
the timing of that was
second.
really well done. Really
it
well
was,
done.
yeah. It was, yeah. I don't know. It was fine. The match was fine. I'm not going to dump on the match.
It was a decent enough match, but it didn't really elevate above decent.
There was no drama really to it. There were some
No.
good spots. I did appreciate the stack, the obsession with stack. Anyways, after that, we had the United States Championship match. Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. Let's see here. I mean, like we said, man, Logan, he was working that arm of Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of his thing. A lot of trash talk. So sort of towards the finish, let's see here. This was cool. So like Logan's setting Kevin Owens up top looking for a superplex. And then he screams at Corey. He's like, "You heard nobody's ever been able to superplex Kevin Owens. I'm about to do it." And Owens hits one of those great fisherman busters from the top. Looks amazing. And Logan knows how to sell like crazy. He's like, dude, he's like 6'2", 6'4", something like that. He seems like he's light as air, like light as a feather, man. It's crazy. So then Owens crawls over, gets a 2 count with a pin. Both men back up. Owens tries for a stunner. Logan kicks Kevin Owens' hand. Logan rips the tape off for a right hand knockout. Owens hits a super kick and a pop-up powerbomb attempt, but Logan then hits the knockout punch. Owens kicks out of that. They freak out because nobody's done that in WWE or anywhere because this is the only place he's wrestled. Logan's all rattled by that. And then his buddy comes down and he tries to interfere. Then Logan heads up top. Owens avoids the splash. They hit double clothesline. Theory and Waller run down, try to help out Logan's buddy because that's still going on. Logan gets tossed the brass knuckles from Austin Theory. Owens goes for a roll-up for 2 as Logan goes for... Owens hits a roll-up for 2 as Logan goes for a knockout, but Owens takes the knucks off, puts them on himself. The ref doesn't see that. He clocks Logan, covers him. Ref counts 3, and then notices the knuckles, reverses it. And so the match is called for Logan Paul, DQ for Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Kevin Owens runs back in, attacks Logan, chucks him into the steps, clears off the announce table, power bombs Logan through the table. Logan starts going after some tissues that are laying there that were on the table, so that he can, because he had a bloody nose also. And then Owens grabs the belt, holds it up, and then leaves. It was good. It was really good stuff.
It was good.
He grabs the halls too from the little.
Yeah, he gets a cough
hostage.
drop from the table. Just a brief follow up on Triple H.
Yeah.
I guess he was also asked about safety protocols for I would assume talent and employees, and he just said they'll do everything possible to ensure proper protocols are in place.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah.
Can't really expect much more, to be honest with you. I mean, in terms of his answers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I going into it, I knew, knowing full well that there wasn't going to be an answer of any depth.
Yeah.
He would try to deflect, so.
Yeah. I mean, legally, I don't think.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, given that there's, the lawsuit and stuff. Might not be able to comment on it. That's entirely possible.
No, dude, I will guarantee you, like there is no way he'd be allowed to say anything of substance. Like their lawyers would, yeah. It's not how it works. After that, we had the men's Royal Rumble, and it started off with Jay and Jimmy. I like that decision. Yeah. That was cool.
That was cool. And Jay was your Iron Man for the men's Rumble. Oh, we didn't mention that for the women's Rumble. Bailey, Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Nia had a fairly dominant performance, eliminating 8 competitors. Got the most eliminations.
Mm-hmm.
For the men's Rumble, Jay was the Iron Man, going more than 50 minutes. And then Cody and Braun were tied for most eliminations, I think, with 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So Jay and Jimmy start going at it. Grayson Waller comes in, acknowledges the tribal chief, says no yeet, starts teaming up on Jay Uso. And then we get, with new music, Andrade It's just Andrade. It's just Andrade.
So you hear the music playing. It's a brand new song. So we don't know who it is. And they cut to the crowd and everybody's standing up. Who is that? Who is that? And you hear, like a modest cheer. And then finally they cut and it's Andrade.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. He's got a great new mask. Awesome gear.
The mask was amazing.
It was great.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. It was good to see. It was great to see him back. I'm sure he's very happy. I'm sure Malachi Black is probably very, what's the word I'm looking for, Larson?
Is envious too strong of a word?
I was going to go with jealous.
All right.
I wish it was me and not him.
Yeah.
It could be both of you guys.
No, just me, not him.
Wow.
I've signed 2 3-year contracts with AEW.
I thought they were concurrent.
I thought they were concurrent.
They're consecutive.
That means one after the other.
Not both at the same time.
I thought it meant same time.
Anyways, we had Carmelo Hayes come in.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. No Trick, though.
No
I thought if Mello was going to be in, then Trick would be in as well.
Getting out a huge response. That SmackDown pop was pretty big.
That was great.
That was pretty big.
Was awesome.
Yep.
Braun was in the Rumble. Pat McAfee.
That was pretty funny. He just decided not to do. He just got up there. He got in for a second, then was like, nope.
Because it was Amos and Braun that were standing. We're like, hey, come on
in. They were like, get in on this. And Braun was just spearing everybody at the time.
Yeah.
He does have like the best spear right now, I think.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the few people that it looks like he's running full speed at the person, because I think he is running full speed at the person taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Final Testament member carrying cross was in his highlight. His highlight was saying no yeet while Jimmy and him were stomping away at somebody. I forget who.
Jay, I think.
Oh, Jay, yeah.
He was quickly eliminated by Bobby Lashley, who was then also quickly eliminated.
Yeah, Bobby was in and out.
Yeah.
Because the other dudes in the Final Testament came down. Yeah. We had Carlito, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Finn Balor, who had to keep on saving Dominic from elimination.
That was a nice little touch.
That was a nice touch. Cody, I mean, I kind of feel like Judgment Day. They're sort of in a holding pattern of disgruntled,
Yeah, I know.
It's
until Priest either successfully cashes in or loses the briefcase,
Something's got to happen with that.
Yeah.
At some point. Let's see here. Cody came in at 15. Bronson Reed, Kofi. No Kofi spot.
Nope. And Katana Chance didn't have a spot either.
That's right. What the heck? I guess that's more sports-based realism for you.
I guess so.
Gunta was number 18. He was just chopping people and all that good stuff. Ivar, there's Braun Breaker. Omos looked like $1 million in that outfit.
Yeah.
Good to see him again. Maybe they'll have something for him now. Who would you do with Omos? What would you do with Omos at WrestleMania? You know what you need? Hey, do the thing that Big E brought up on the bump.
Yeah.
The big men slap meat invitational.
Should be a gauntlet match. Amos, Bronson Reed.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
It's good. Yeah,
we got Pat McAfee after that. He was very surprised that he was supposed to be in. JD McDonough. So Braun eliminates Amos, and then Dom eliminates Braun, and then Braun's so pissed off he goes out there and spears the living shit out of JD McDonough. R-Truth comes out. R-Truth also tried to enter the Women's Rumble.
Yeah.
He was eliminated, but then Pierce came down and ran at him.
To the Men's Rumble and thought it was a tag match because Gunther had Dom in a sleeper, and he's like, "Hey, Dom, tag me in."
Yeah, that was pretty darn funny.
It was pretty funny.
Let's see here. Damian Priest was next. He comes in, clocks R-Truth, and then dumps him out. CM Punk comes out. Ricochet's out. Been a while since we've seen him. Mm-hmm. Drew is at 29, and then Sami Zayn's back at 30. And they just all go at it. We sort of talked about all the eliminations from there. In the end, Cody Rhodes gets the win. Stares at the WrestleMania sign, points hardcore at it. And then the wrestle part disappears and Cody shows up. So it's Cody Mania. That was your joke and I stole it.
You did steal my joke, but that's all right.
It was
At least
a good
it stays
joke.
on the show.
It was a good joke, Larson. Yeah, I
Thank
didn't do it at WrestleJuice. I did it here. Speaking of side jobs or side gigs, Friendo Club channel tomorrow, Friendo Club Wrestling, we're going to give you
ratings.
our star ratings less than 24 hours after the Royal Rumble itself.
Yeah.
Which is way faster than
Those other guys.
those other guys who wait all the way till Friday. It's going to be
Friday.
February by the time theirs comes out. Next month for the star ratings? Nah.
Nah. Got a few super chats here. Lord Blake here says SmackDown had 7 men in the Rumble tonight. 7 out of 30.
Yeah, well, okay, but here's the thing. Like, 3 of the dudes that would be in that match, there wasn't a World Heavyweight Championship match, so, 3 of those dudes, so it would have been 10 out of 30, which is still not a lot.
Yeah.
Raw's a longer show, has more people.
Infinite Paradox with super chat. Thank you, Steve Kaharski as well.
Thank you very much.
High Plains Drifter. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Dirk Hardpeck.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, everybody. We had great crowds today on both Twitch and YouTube.
Oh, we did, absolutely.
Appreciate everybody joining us for a watch along for the engagement.
Love the engagement.
I love the engagement on these pay-per-view.
A lot of engagement in chat here, man. A lot of people some people not huge on Cody winning. Some people huge on Cody winning.
Yeah.
Mixed bag.
Polarizing figure Cody is.
He is polarizing, But, the greats usually are, Larson. So that's how it's gonna go down today. Thanks everybody for watching. Till next, that's how it's gonna go down today. I don't know what that means. What do I usually say? Anyways, that's gonna do it for us today. That's what I usually say.
There you go.
It's late.
It is late.
It's
10
late.
o'clock Pacific.
Gonna have a beer. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Till next time, we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Where's the end stream button?